Let's paint today the flower from my garden. It's almost the last blue purplish hydrangea in my garden because the summer is almost over and most of the flowers are already green, brownish. But this is I found it's rather small, but very nice in color, and we will paint today with a loose technique, and we will learn also how to wash out, how to create this chaos of leaves, how to use tennis stroke with special brushes, how to paint not with purple but using different colors. So let's start. As usually, I'm using colors from my palette, and these are watercolor professional brand. I'm using from Rosa Gallery. This is lavender. I love. And I'm using the paper, and you will be surprised. Usually I use professional 300-gram cotton paper, like Honeymoon of the collection. And this is cotton. That's very important. But today it will be a quick sketch, and I'm going to use cellulose paper. The reason why I'm using cellulose paper today, not only because it's a quick sketch, but also because on cellulose paper we can wash out much easier than on cotton paper. Because washing out is the technique, lifting the color. This is the technique I'm going to use today rather actively. That's why I'm using cellulose paper. And I'm going to use brushes that I usually don't use. I use them only for painting flowers. These are SWAT synthetic brushes, so it's like special edge. These brushes are from different brands, and I also have them from different brands, from Da Vinci, Ami. So I love how these brushes make strokes for petals, and we will make exercises, and you will see how differently the brushes work, and what nice strokes they can leave. So are the only brushes I'm going to use today. So before we start, I would like that we make some exercises, and these exercises are more about working with a stroke, with a special stroke. I call this stroke tennis stroke because I use also my elbow to move my hand this way and that way to create strokes. And I love how these brushes work for that. So I'm taking just any color. And what I usually look with my students, what I usually see with my students, they try to work it a bit symmetrical, a bit in the same way. So now our task is to train our hand so that all the strokes are in different direction. It's not easy, I know, but the more we train, the better we are getting, right? So this is a stroke, but this stroke has the same direction. But with the flowers, it doesn't work like that. All the petals go different directions. So we will move the hand, look, like upside down, like this way, this way, this way, this way. And you have the illusion of the flower. So try to make really different strokes, different distances between those. More pressure, you get a longer stroke, a bigger, just with a fine edge, then less. So just take a simple paper and try to play and turn the brush, turn your hand, and train this very nice stroke. You can also train to make flowers like 1, 2. Hortensia has 4 flowers. Like if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can make those. But you never see all 4. Yeah, never. Yeah, sometimes. But in most cases, you see 1, 2, because the rest are hidden. So this is the exercise you can do. The next technique that we are going to use today is lifting or washing out. That's why I'm using cellulose paper. Clean, synthetic, dry brush. So clean and dry. And if you want to remove, you remove. Because if it's dark on some places, you can make it lighter. And it gives you a possibility to add lighter petals that are, for example, here or there is a lighter. So here is darker, here is lighter. And it's difficult to paint loose when you pay attention to everything, but you first make light middle shadow, and then you can wash out on darker spots. Clean, dry brush, and you get lighter. So these are 2 techniques that we are going to use today. First, I would like to discuss the shape. We see a lot of flowers, but all these flowers build a sphere. So this is oval. Sometimes it can be bigger and more roundish, but it's still this kind of a shape. It's a sphere. It's the same as an apple. It may sound strange, but it's true. And if we take an apple, that's the easiest form to show the volume. We have light middle shadow, and actually here we have also light middle shadow of the whole body, of the whole sphere. But of course, each flower has own shadow, and also between the flowers there is also shadow. So if you make a botanical illustration, of course you follow all this shadow, but my technique, my style is more loose, and I will pay attention to a general sphere light middle shadow, and some of those I will still have, but not too detailed. So I'm making a round, but also paying attention that these are rough edges. I can also make it first with a pencil so that you see it better. So I will do it like this now. So this is oval. And in this oval, I will cut all these nice petals. You can follow what you see, but also you can skip it and just go like wild with that. So trying to see what is there. So this is a general shape. And if we speak about sphere and light, middle, and shadow, on my table, the light comes from the right. So from here, it means that here is the light, here is the shadow, the middle, sorry, and here is the shadow. So light, middle, and shadow. So like 3 lines, like a flag. But because this is a rather difficult shape with all the additional shadows, the transition here is also not following the line, but following the petal line, rather curvy. You can ignore actually all the lines, but make this line curvy. This line as well curvy. And we see light, middle shadow, but not with a straight line, but with a curvy line. Moreover, a bit of light happens also here. A bit of middle happens also here. Shadow, you can see also here, and middle also here. Because one petal is lower when it gets more shadow, and one petal, for example, like this one, it's more up and it gets more light. So this is a general scheme, but there are some kind of like variations. To explain this in values, I will do the following. To explain this in values, I will use the darkest color I have in my palette. This is violet black, a very nice color. And I will use only one color now, but with three consistencies. So what I'm doing now, this is milk consistency, both water and color. This is very thick consistency, no water, only pigment for shadows. And separately, I will need a very watery color, a lot of water, less pigment, so it's very, very light. So you see how I bring lots of water there. So I have tea consistency, very, very watery. So all these three. And I will start now with accidental watering technique. My brush, clean water, and the stroke, which I called tennis stroke, because I also move my elbow for that. And I turn, you see what happens? I always turn my hand and my brush. And between strokes, I do have dry paper. So I'm not covering completely, not like this watering, but accidental watering. Then I start with light. And here where you have light, I'm doing the same kind of a stroke, but with lighter colors. On some places, it gets on white, on wet, it starts to bleed. On some, it's not. You don't care about that. Then I start with middle. A bit more water to dark middle. And coming a bit also here, but not a lot, but a bit on some places. Also a bit here. So there is like intersection. And the last is shadow, very thick. And a bit also here. So like jumping a bit brush, some here. And you have your flower. Sometimes it happens so that paint bleeds and it's difficult to control. You can wash out, don't worry. Clean dry brush and you can make some leaves light. Remove, clean. Remove, clean. If the brush is dirty, again clean, make it dry, and continue. Washing out is also a very powerful technique. Some dots, because they have those, right? If you want some details, you can also make those, but not a lot. On some petals you can do with like drawing effect, but not too much. You can make a bit of a pencil drawing, but not too much details. So this was in values, so that we see light, middle, and shadow, and some of all the values in between. When I look at the flower is purple, very simple. But then I look attentively and I see more pinkish, more lavenderish, bluish, even greenish. So there are so many colors in the flower itself, really green, and it creates special effect. It is becoming very rich in color. And my suggestion is not to use purple at all. We'll be making our own purple, and because we mix it every time differently, we will get so many purplish, bluish, pinkish hues, and it will help us to create this rich effect. As a main color for the flower, I will be using lavender. It's already mixture of pink, white, and ultramarine. It's a very beautiful color. I will be using also pink. This is opera. Cerulean. Absolutely different blue. And ultramarine. So mixing all these four colors together in different proportions, making these mixtures just on wet paper, we will get a very rich effect. I will now prepare the colors, and as usually I start with light, so with watery. So I'm using lavender with lots of water. Separately pink, also watery, and cerulean blue. These are three colors that I'm going to use, but you can also add a bit of ultramarine as we discussed, or even a bit of green, because we saw the green there, so it's possible. So with clean water, I'm starting jumping here with my tennis stroke. So I'm always turning. Yes, lavender. Jumping with lavender. So I'm not trying to catch the wet spots. No, I'm just forgetting where I did it, and I'm just making my strokes. Lavender. While it is still wet, I'm adding on some places a bit of cerulean. Pink. So they bleed and create effects. this is light. Now I starting to work with middle, so I need a bit thicker consistencies. The same colors, but more pigment, less water. And I'm not starting here, I'm coming a bit inside. That's important. So that you remember we had this curvy line. A bit thicker cerulean. A bit thicker pink. Further, I'm starting with shadow colors, even thicker lavender. A bit nicer shapes. Thicker cerulean and thicker pink. Even if we leave it like this, we already have the flower, but I want to use one more technique, washing out. Clean dry brush, and I'm trying to find some light leaves and wash out. 1, 2. 1, 2. Sometimes several times on the same place. It's normal because the paint comes back. And after each, I'm cleaning my brush. Clean. Now thick paint, lavender with indigo and with pink, so very dark purple. No water. I'm coming a bit around some of the lights, like here around, here around. This is more chaos, but I'm going not everywhere, but around some lighter. So here, like in between, I'm adding mostly on this area, not coming to the lightest lights, because there's a high risk that it will be too dark. It's more like negative painting, so that we see the petal because the petal is lighter and the shadow is darker behind. What's important in this technique that these are very, very intensive and dark colors, no water. dark dots. So a bit like drawing, but very, very smooth and still on wet paper. Yes. And we can add green. For that, I'm going to use the color I love. It's turquoise, and to make it more natural, I'm adding a bit of burnt sienna, a bit of brown, and the color is becoming more realistic. So I see there's kind of a not being too accurate, but more low line. Dark indigo to press to share the illusion of the shadows. And again, green for the leaf. The leaf doesn't start immediately here. First, there is a stem. Yes, and only then there is a leaf. And a bit curvy, really curvy line. So we try to avoid the leaves we used to paint when we were kids. So a big jumping line, not that ideal. Again, green. Even if they are on the same level, I'm trying to change it a bit so that it looks more natural, more, yeah, rich in textures and shapes. And a bit of a shadowish with indigo. We can leave it also like this, but if you want the effect that everything bleeds down like from the leaves, we can do it. And I do it like this. I'm adding water here on the edge, just water. And then I'm adding color, holding the paper vertically. And on some moment, I'm trying to help the paint to bleed. Yes. Like one. Can be bigger, smaller. The key is holding vertically. So if you want the effect, you do it like this. I'm trying to avoid this symmetry, yeah? So darker indigo. And I can leave it